In 2016, a team of scientists lowered a camera into the deepest place on Earth. They expected to see nothing, no light, no movement, just crushing blackness. Instead, the screen flickered. A jellyfish drifted past, unnamed, unseen, alive. For decades, we believed the bottom of the Mariana Trench was a biological desert. Pressure that would implode a steel sphere, temperatures near freezing, zero sunlight. Yet this creature floated there, delicate and translucent, as if it belonged. It didn't just survive, it thrived. That is what unsettles us. What else is down there, and why does it matter to us? The answer is stranger than you think, because the things living in that abyss aren't just curiosities. They may hold the key to how life began and how it could end. We're going to descend, past the point where light dies, past the zone where pressure crushes submarines, down to the very bottom, and we'll meet the creatures that call that hell home. What we find will change how you see the planet and yourself. Imagine a wound on the planet so deep it could swallow Mount Everest whole and still have room for a mile of water above the peak. That scar is the Mariana Trench. It sits in the Western Pacific, 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. But this isn't just a hole, it's a collision zone. One tectonic plate dives beneath another, grinding and buckling, forcing a chasm into existence. The result, a gash that plunges far beyond the reach of sunlight. No light means no photosynthesis. No photosynthesis means no food chain, as we know it. Yet something lives down there. The pressure at the bottom is crushing, enough to collapse a submarine like a soda can. But life finds a way. Single-celled organisms thrive. Strange fish, like the Mariana snailfish, drift in the eternal dark. They survive where nothing should. In 2016, a NOAA expedition sent a camera into the abyss and spotted an unnamed jellyfish, glowing and alien, drifting through the black. That discovery raised a question. If such creatures exist in the most hostile place on Earth, what else is hiding? But how do we even know how deep it really goes? You cannot send a person to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The pressure would collapse a submarine like a fist crushing an egg. Therefore, you send robots. Sonar pulses bounce off the seafloor, mapping a scar in the planet's crust that is deeper than Mount Everest is tall. But the numbers alone mean nothing. They are just digits on a screen. The real measure is what survives. In 2016, a NOAA expedition dropped a camera into the abyss. The light from the surface never reaches that depth. It is a world of permanent midnight. Yet the camera caught something moving. An unnamed jellyfish, drifting in the black. Its body is translucent, almost invisible. It has no need for eyes, it has no need for color. It simply exists in a place where the weight of the ocean above would kill any surface creature instantly. How do you measure a place like that? Not with depth gauges. You measure it by the life that endures there. Single-celled organisms cling to the sediment. The Mariana snailfish swims in the crushing dark. They are the true explorers. But they raise a question that pulls you forward. What happens when you descend into a world with no light and crushing pressure? Subscribe to uncover the secrets of Earth's final frontier. The last sliver of blue vanishes at around 200 meters. Below that, the ocean becomes a different world, a realm of perpetual night where sunlight has never touched. You keep descending. The pressure builds with every meter, doubling, then tripling, until it reaches a crushing force that would collapse a submarine like paper. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the weight of the entire Pacific Ocean presses down on every square inch. Yet life finds a way. In 2016, a NOAA expedition sent cameras into this abyss. What they saw defied expectation. An unnamed jellyfish drifted past, its delicate body somehow intact under pressures that should have turned it to jelly. But it wasn't alone. Single-celled organisms thrive here, feeding on chemical energy from the seafloor. The Mariana snailfish, a translucent creature no bigger than your hand, patrols the deepest hunting grounds on Earth. It survives because its body has evolved to lack swim bladders, replacing them with gelatinous tissues that match the crushing pressure outside. These adaptations are not just curiosities. They are blueprints for survival in extreme environments. Lessons from a place where life exists on the knife edge of impossibility. But if creatures can endure here, in total darkness and unimaginable pressure, what else might be waiting? Could anything truly live at the very bottom? You drop a steel submarine into the Mariana Trench. At the bottom, the pressure crushes it like a fist around an egg. But life does not wait for permission. In 2016, a NOAA expedition sent a camera into the abyss. What it found was not a monster. It was a jellyfish, unnamed, translucent, drifting in the dark like a ghost that forgot it should be dead. The pressure at that depth is enough to turn bone to dust. Yet this creature pulses along, its body softer than a whisper. Then there is the Mariana snailfish. It looks like a pale tadpole with fins. No scales, no swim bladder. It lives where no fish should exist. Its cells are packed with special proteins that keep its membranes from collapsing. It does not fight the pressure, it surrenders, and therefore it survives. But how? How does a body hold together when every square inch is crushed by the weight of an ocean? The answer is not strength, it is adaptation. These creatures have rebuilt their chemistry from the ground up. Their enzymes work at pressures that would stop our own biology cold. You are looking at a world that rewrote the rules of survival. And the question that keeps scientists awake at night is this: how do these creatures endure pressures that would crush a submarine? You descend past the point where light has ever touched. The pressure here is crushing, over 1,000 times the weight of the atmosphere at sea level. A human would be flattened instantly, yet life thrives. How? Their bodies are built differently, flexible proteins, not rigid ones. Their cell membranes are packed with special fats that stay fluid under immense force. The Mariana snailfish, a pale, translucent creature, has no swim bladder that would implode. Instead, its skeleton is made of cartilage, its flesh a soft gel. It drifts barely denser than the water itself, hunting tiny crustaceans. Single-celled organisms called foraminifera carpet, the sediment. They build their shells from scavenged minerals, not calcium, because calcium dissolves at these depths. Everything is adapted to the extreme. Enzymes work at pressures that would denature normal proteins. Their DNA is reinforced with special proteins that prevent it from being crushed. But these creatures are fragile in another way. Bring them to the surface, and they melt. Their bodies are so specialized for the deep that the change in pressure kills them instantly. We can only study them in their own environment, using remotely operated vehicles. The trench holds life we barely understand. And if such strange biology exists here, in the most hostile place on Earth, but what else is hiding in the depths that we haven't discovered yet? To understand what is really at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on Earth, and what lives there, you have to look past the surface. The same pattern shows up again and again, and its effects compound the longer it runs. The deeper we look, the more we realize how little we know. What survives in the deepest, darkest, and most crushing place on Earth? Life. But not the life you imagine. No light reaches here. The pressure would collapse a submarine like a fist around paper. Yet something moves. Single-celled organisms drift through the sediment. The Mariana snailfish glides past, its body translucent, its bones soft. In 2016, an unnamed jellyfish appeared on NOAA's cameras, a ghost with a bell and trailing ribbons, pulsing through the abyss as if the weight of 7 miles of ocean meant nothing. These creatures survive because they do not fight. They have no swim bladders to rupture, no rigid skeletons to shatter. Their proteins are built to fold under pressure. Their cells pump water to match the crushing force outside. They yield, and in yielding, they endure. That is the lesson. The deepest place on Earth teaches us that survival is not about strength. It is about adaptation through surrender. When you cannot change the pressure, you change yourself. The same applies to markets, to systems, to your own life. The ones who last are not the hardest, they are the most flexible. But the trench holds more than biology. It holds a secret monopoly on the future of technology, a resource so rare it could reshape the global economy. And someone already owns it. Dive deeper next time.